5p deletion, or Cri du Chat, has been on our gene list since January 2023. But this is just to show all the genetic conditions for everyone who's able to register and participate. We're available in 7 different languages as of right now, so we really fight for this international collaboration and community. For what information we're collecting, you're seeing the current list of what we have available in English. So different languages have different surveys translated or available. One of the reasons for that is some of these surveys are publisher owned, so we are not able to translate them. We're not allowed. But any surveys that we can or that we ourselves have created, we're able to translate by a medical translation company for these other languages to participate. But in English, this is the full battery of resources that we have. Baseline, meaning this is what you're asked the first time you register and give information and participate. And then later, annually, over time, we include other certain measures or surveys that might change over time. So development and medical history, we do continue to ask over time. And a really important piece of information for participation is the genetic lab report. We understand that the Cri du Chat community has a little bit of a unique journey in that it's a longer known genetic condition as compared to other conditions on our list. So we do actually have a special program just for Cri du Chat participants, which I'll talk about in the upcoming slide, that we do offer to associate a gene or genetic diagnosis for that person. So in terms of what we give back to families, we have a few different ways that we try to give back. And some give back or some information we share is only available if you are a participant. So that's personalized reports. For example, the seizure survey, the seizure history survey, if you fill it out, then you get like a summary report that shows where your answer is and how that relates to the other Cri du Chat members in that community. So that obviously is a personalized report for participants. But we have several resources that you don't have to participate in order to get that information. So these summary snapshots, here I'm showing just 2 screenshots of what's available on our actual website. So you don't have to be a member or participating. You can go to our Searchligh.org 5p deletion webpage, and then you'll see the what we call quarterly reports or registry reports right at the top of the page. If you click on it, that's where you'll see this most recent report. And at the bottom of the page, you'll see the previous reports that we've generated. We usually have this sort of high-level summary of how many people are included in this report, what's the breadth of developmental features that people are reporting, and then we sometimes, if we're able to, create a specialized second part of the report that includes a more detailed breakdown of another survey in our system. So here I'm showing the Vineland-3. This was the last report that was done for the Cri du Chat community. This is just one page of the Vineland-3 summary, but essentially this is another survey within our system that's quite time-consuming for families, but it is a really valuable one for researchers, and it allows researchers to create this developmental growth chart for different behaviors and adaptive behaviors over a person's lifespan. So it's up to the age of a person being 99 that you're able to fill out this Vineland for them. So we created a few pages on the Vineland-3, but in the previous ones we've done challenging behaviors, sleep issues, seizure history. We did puberty about a year ago, and so forth. So it really is dependent on how much information we're able to get from families. But we try to make it in an accessible way that families can or people can access it worldwide. And they are very useful because people are able to share them with their schools, therapists, clinicians, anyone who really wants to know more about the genetic condition in this high-level way. And so we do get clinicians that email us and say, my patient just shared this with me. Can you tell me more? So they are used and they're very, very valuable for the community. And then obviously other ways that we give back is presentations at conferences, engaging in meetings, and so forth. For this connecting families to researchers mention, we have this program called Research Match. So that's how we're able to get researchers looking for recruiting families who are within our registry, or if they have a survey that they want to implement that we don't have for a community, or they want to know everyone within a certain region or country or genetic variant, whatever their criteria is, we work with the researchers. This is free of charge. They can come and access Find Families. How the families are informed is, here's an interested researcher. Do you give permission to give your contact information or fill out the survey? So we offer this to families that are eligible, and then they give permission for each research study if they are interested. This is just a high level summary of the data sets that we have and the number of research institutions, teams, and requests that we've received. We are celebrating our 15th year this year, and we have had many requests come in. Our Safari base here, this more information, our repository and centralized information for all of this, and they're really great at working with the researchers trying to get this information into their hands. 5P deletion or Cri du Chat data is included in the current data set. We had a data release in July, and we do have samples and phenotypic information available to researchers right now. And just 1 second to say, this is the overall process for the researchers in order to get this information. They just have to affiliate their institution, let us know what they want to do with the research, identify every single person that would be using the data or the samples, and then we do a quick review and approval for the researchers. So now the last few slides is, what do we have high level of Cri du Chat within the Simon Searchlight Research Registry currently. This is an overall picture of our process for Simon Searchlight with a breakdown of how many people we have for each step. So the very first step of just signing up online and making your email account within our system is 100 people. It's the very first step, and we often get drop off in every single one of our steps. But we have 56 genetic lab reports or medical records from people with the Cri du Chat condition. And then we have medical history on 25 people, but any other survey, we have 31 people. This medical history is another long survey. It goes across every single body system, from urinary to endocrine to anything that might be going on. And we count it as a really big and important data point for researchers. That's why it's getting its own call out here. But any other one of the surveys filled out, that might be shorter. We do have 31 people who have contributed. We have 17 blood samples from participants. And as mentioned, we collect over time. So right now, for the summary of this 56 people who we have genetic information for, as is familiar within this community, this is the 5P, a cartoon of the 5P chromosome, the chromosome 5, the P arm and the Q arm, the P being the smaller arm, and then a zoom in of where our deletions are found within our registry. And so here in blue, I'm showing detailed breakpoints that we've gotten from a microarray, so a type of test for families who might not have had it, that it's much more detailed on what the breakpoints might be. And as everyone likely knows within this community, the deletions or the genetic variations are very unique to the person for the most part, with much overlap in certain areas, but still there are people that just have a very different variant. We have a few people that have a deletion and a duplication. So here you have a deletion, 2 different people that have a deletion here on the very end, but then they have a duplication of a certain amount of genetic material within the 5P region. And then we have a group of people that have either had a karyotype or a fish, these sort of older genetic tests that have been completed. And the breakpoints are not as they're not as detailed. And so what I was mentioning earlier about the special program that we have just for the Cri du Chat community is we offer for free microarray testing, clinical grade microarray testing for people in this community to confirm the breakpoint, as it can be very helpful to know the subregion of the deletion and duplicated material if there is any. And how we are able to offer it is with any medical record that might say, yes, this person has Cri du Chat on previous testing. It doesn't even have to be the actual original karyotype. We just need some record saying that this person had this genetic diagnosis, because we are not offering this in general. This isn't meant to be more of a genetic diagnosis identification, just more confirmation of what the actual breakpoints is within the community. And this is the only community we offer this to. Our international genetic testing, we are contracting with a new country right now, a new genetic testing lab right now. So it's on pause briefly, but we are currently in the works of getting that contract going. So this is a program that is ongoing and will continue, but we are just currently working through a genetic testing contract. Where our families live in the world in general in Simon Searchlight is shown in these different blue colors. So darker colors means more families for these different locations. And then the Cri du Chat members are in the yellow bubbles. So this is where we have our families currently registered within our system, participating and located. And then when it comes to what biospecimens do we have? So we do have 17 whole blood DNA samples available for request at this time. We have this other cell type. So when we do a blood collection, we collect 2 tubes. The one is whole blood cell DNA preserved, and the other is this other sample type that comes, these PBMCs, that we save for creating cell lines. So as of right now, these PBMCs are not requestable by researchers, but we are also working, our team at the Simons Foundation and working with Safari Base is working to make these PBMCs requestable to researchers, that if they wanted to create induced pluripotent stem cells, they could. And that's hopefully upcoming in the next few months. They're actively trying to work how that request system would work through the system. But on the other side of that, we are creating induced pluripotent stem cells for the 5p deletion Cri du Chat community. The current ongoing ones are the 1, 2, 3, and 5. They are ongoing. We're several months into the reprogramming already. And if it is of interest, I can share, we have this public external IPSC tracking sheet that's a Google sheet that I can share. It's available to everybody, and you can see where these particular lines are at in their programming. And this sheet is updated every single month from our reprogramming facility. We've had one cell line not able to continue. It failed in one of the reprogramming steps, and we don't have any more of a sample to retry. I believe it was retried, and then we didn't have any more sample to retry. And then we also have these additional 5 that are currently sent to the reprogramming facility. So this is done at the New York Stem Cell Foundation, and they're right at the beginning of their reprogramming journey. Our data is entirely free. Our biospecimens comes with a small sample, so a small cost. So we are funding the reprogramming of the cells. But when researchers come and request the cells, it's at a cost of $124 per sample plus shipping and handling. But they can, again, they would get these cell lines from the Safari Base platform. And so this is my last slide, just to say that we have been here for the long haul. We're not planning on going away anytime soon. We have dedicated funding for the long term. We have a multi-dimensional international research program, both in terms of the participants and in terms of the actual staff. We have this sharing data back pivotal tenet of our research study. And we also want to express that we share the biospecimens and the data with the utmost highest standards of data security and integrity. So it's all de-identified. We don't include your name, address, or any of that when the researchers get your genetic information, and we make sure that it's securely shared with these external researchers. If families have questions, so they would register at simonsearchlight.org. If families have questions, please send them to coordinator@simonsearchlight.org. I'm one of the people that monitor this email inbox, so it's not just me, but other coordinator staff and genetic counselors. And you can follow our announcements and progress through our different social media channels. But we would be really happy to help with any questions that families might have individually.